Hey, True Believers, Englentine here. I wanted to talk about this. So, CBR's been shooting themselves in the foot a lot recently. I mean, granted, they've never been like 100% somebody you could guarantee the unbiased news or anything like that. But with the Captain America thing and now this, I figure, what the heck? Let's go over an article. You haven't done this in a while, and we're going to see how what they think, by the way. The Snyder Cut decision teaches fans the wrong lessons. What is that wrong lesson? So anyway, it starts off with, while the decision to release the now legendary Snyder Cut of the Justice League is certain to please fans, the move only encourages bad fan behavior. I want receipts. I want a listing of bad fan behavior beyond just putting release the Snyder Cut. That's what I would see all the time. Anytime hey, Justice League, release the Snyder Cut. Alrighty. Yeah, could they be a little bit pushy? I guess so. But is it really bad behavior to support something? And I don't see it. It might be me, but I don't see it. It's no secret, especially to Warner Brothers, that 2017's Justice League was a critical and commercial flop, perhaps more so than any other DCEU film release up to that point. The film's tortured production included replacing the director Zack Snyder with Joss Whedon, after Snyder's daughter tragically passed away in the late May of 2017. Whedon was given the Herculean task of completing the film, carrying it through post-production and shooting additional scenes. Although Whedon tried his best, ultimately the theatrical cut of Justice League ended up being a classic example of what happens when there's too many cooks in the kitchen. Yes, and I heard also something about Warner Brothers being up against it, as there was some sort of merger or something along those lines, and they wanted strength, to show strength. So instead of pushing their tentpole back, which they should have, they just went ahead and actually pushed it, and I guess they thought they would make a ton of money in the opening weekend. Ended up failing badly. The ugly clashing tones of two entirely different production styles are apparent throughout the film, and this reality prompted an incredibly vocal minority of DCEU fans to hound Warner Brothers to release the cut of the film Snyder originally envisioned before he was forced to step down. The now legendary lost cut of the DC team-up movie was dubbed the Snyder Cut, and over the years, Snyder himself has teased elements of his version of the film, including in a social media post as recently as January, in which Snyder revealed an image of Ryan Choi as the Atom. Hey, here's the thing. I wanted to see the Snyder Cut as well. I'm not a member of the hashtag. I've never went out and said, hey, woo, release the Snyder Cut. Not in any kind of forceful manner, or I don't say it a whole bunch. I might have like once or twice in the beginning, just because I would love to see what he had as an idea. I thought if you couldn't do it as a real movie, an animated film, but I think the same thing about Superman Lives starring Nicolas Cage. Look, we're never going to get that movie, but it's such a curiosity. Can't we just get it as an animated movie? Can you do at least that much? I think that would be really cool. Get Nick Cage to voice it. That would be awesome. If the Snyder Cut doesn't work as a live action, let's animate it. Let's see how it would have gone. I think that would be really, really cool. Internet fervor for the Snyder Cut reached fever pitch recently, becoming so overwhelming that Warner Brothers finally caved to fan demands. An announcement during Snyder's watch-along of 2013's Man of Steel. The director announced that he and his producing partner wife, Deborah Snyder, are in the process of assembling the cast and crew needed to complete his cut of Justice League. The Snyder Cut is expected to stream on HBO Max sometime in 2021. In all, Warner Brothers is likely to spend in the neighborhood of $20 to $30 million. I heard 40, in order to placate perhaps the loudest minority of comic book fans ever. How about everybody? This now. Once again, they really haven't gotten to the point of this, which is bad behavior and blah, 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 wrong lessons. But how many people who weren't even texting out hashtag Snyder Cut want to see this? I know I do. I think this was, at the very least, it's a TV show. It's a curiosity. Look, when Disney Plus came up, it had a behind-the-scenes TV show called Imagineering. Never asked for it. Loved it. Didn't ask for the world according to Jeff Goldblum. Had a great time with it. Look, at the very least, this is something that would be a curiosity. If we had never even seen hashtag Snyder Cut or whatever, release the Snyder Cut, as a fan of DC Comics, if they said, well, we're going to release the Snyder Cut, we're going to talk about what went wrong, why we had to change it, where he would have taken it. If they had just released this as a TV show without anybody saying hashtag release the Snyder Cut, you, as a comic book fan, would have been all over this. You may even be putting it down right now, which I would say you're full of crap, because if you're like, oh no, this is horrible, it's only because of what has gone on because of the hashtag Snyder Cut people. I will call you out on your bullshit and say, had they just released this, even though it had never been done with a hashtag Snyder Cut, you would be all over wanting to see what could have been. Because comic book fans, superhero fans, Dungeons and Dragons, geeks in general, we are that kind of curious. While it is admirable for Snyder and Warner Brothers to give the film another go-around from a production perspective, the memory of Snyder's Justice League will forever be overshadowed by the theatrical cut's problems. That version of the film will always be the one that fans left fans disappointed. Okay? And the one that went through its own unique production. Hell, spending tens of millions of dollars to appease what is realistically a very small group of loud social media users does not seem like a sound business decision. Let me repeat once again. Bullshit! Because CBR would have been all over this. Oh my gosh, guys, we gotta check this out. They're going to show us Zack Snyder's original ideas. But instead, because it had a hashtag going on, then there you go. They have to put it down. Sorry, man, I am not buying it. I am not buying even the tone of this particular article because they're being disingenuous. You would have at least been curious, and CBR would have been all over. And granted, I can't really say that. I can assume by what they cover and how they cover it that they would have at least been announcing this as a curiosity. That one was tragically bad. Why don't we find out what was the original idea and see if it was as equally tragically bad, or does the Snyder Cut hold something? They would have done this just as a news organization. So I'm sorry. Loud social, a very small group, no. Comic book fans in general, movie fans in general, would at the very least be interested, would at the very least be curious. Because, and this is just me speculating, obviously, but I think one of the main reasons we would be so curious is because of how bad Justice League turned out. Alrighty, let me go on. Where was I? On top of that, the fact that this announcement comes in a year that is expected to be tragically lean for the entire film industry's bottom line makes Warner Brothers seem fiscally irresponsible. To put it simply, Warner Brothers should have left well enough alone and not let Snyder touch Justice League again. Hey, look, I'm not a huge fan of the dark DC comics, the DC comic movies that Zack Snyder was building up. There are scenes, I actually enjoy them all on some sort of level, except for Birds of Prey. But, yeah, Superman should have been hopeful. You know, I did actually like Watchmen. But, one, it's Warner Brothers' money. How are you going to say it's fiscally irresponsible? Now, it says seems. They do say Warner Brothers seem fiscally irresponsible. But then again, their whole purpose is to create entertainment. And if they think this will make them money, if they think this will grab enough people on over to HBO Max, we don't know until afterwards if this is actually fiscally irresponsible. If nobody goes over to check it out, okay, yeah, they were. But you know what? That's what entertainment is. They put out a movie hoping it's going to make money, and then, of course, it either does or doesn't. Even if the film gets fresh coat of paint in the form of new footage, the original problems inherent at its very core will forever be apparent. Let's not forget the absolute tragedies were Cavill's CGI'd upper lip and the film's main villain, Steppenwolf, the rubber-faced manifestation of boredom. In addition, Ben Affleck came across as mostly bored. He's been with a the most bored he's been with a role in his entire career. Every scene with Batman in Justice League reeked with the aura of Affleck feeling like he was above acting in the franchise any longer. The only admirable and consistent performance in the entire film came from the incomparable Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, although admittedly this could change with the inclusion of the Snyder Cut's new characters. That's right. Yeah, unless they're going to remove some of this, put in some of that. Personally, I would get rid of that whole beginning bit. What's the S stand for? Hope. The whole where the kids are interviewing. Get rid of that. But we'll see. We'll see how this goes. But he's right. All the stuff that's there, unless they're going to take it all out, the problems are still going to be the problems. So, let's see. Warner Brothers could be setting a dangerous precedent by caving into these vocal fans. Once again, I don't think this is caving in. I think this is seeing a financial opportunity. After all, the fans essentially engaged in a 2.5-year-long harassment campaign whose only goal was to get the studio to admit it made the wrong decisions concerning the theatrical version of Justice League. You know what? The studio made a lot of bad decisions concerning this theatrical version of Justice League by announcing an entirely new cut of what is perhaps its biggest failure in building the DC Extended Universe. It's rewarding the toxicity displayed by DC fans around the world as they overtook HBO Max's Twitter feed with an unending torrent of pleas for their once fabled blockbuster mulligan. Okay, if it's an unending torrent, then maybe there's more people out there who's interested than you think, and perhaps as they put this out there, more and more people joined it. The same toxicity that was on display as far back as the announcement of the now imminent streaming service. Okay. While the specific campaign of fan ire will now abate, it has been demonstrated that fan backlash can bear fruit. Okay, hold on a second. Let's go back to this thing. Fans show interest. Studio does what fans want. That's toxic. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Isn't that, hey, look, we're telling you what we're going to spend our money on. Granted, sometimes that doesn't happen. Snakes on a Plane had a huge online presence and then ended up failing. So you never know if people are going to put their money where their mouths are. I've got HBO Max. I'm doing that 7-day trial right now. So far, so It's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. Hopefully they'll get some better things and such. But hey, at least they've got Steel starring Shaquille O'Neal, and that's all we really need in life. While this specific campaign of fan ire will now abate, it is demonstrating that fan backlash can bear fruit, no matter how extreme the goal. In the coming years, this could have massive effect on comic book films, specifically leading some filmmakers to adhere too closely to source material for fear of facing Snyder Cut levels of backlash. The next time a filmmaker or actor is harassed because of their unwillingness to cave to fan demands, remember Warner Brothers had the power to prevent it by deciding that they cared more about the millions of average consumers who won't care at all about a second cut of Justice League than the opinions of the minority of vocal internet superfans. Okay, let me translate in. This is what I'm reading right here. What CBR is saying is, because I don't care about it, Warner Brothers shouldn't have cared about it. I mean, here's the thing. They're saying right here, they should have cared more about the millions of average consumers who won't care at all about a second cut of Justice League. Okay, if you don't care about it, then why? Why even write this? Let it go. Let the people who want to see it, and shut the freaking heck up. Seriously. If you don't care about it, walk away and let people enjoy. Hey, guess what? Once again, I'm going to bring up Disney Plus. They've got what is the Wizards of Weatherly Place or any of those freaking Mickey's Clubhouse baby shows. They've got all of those. But millions of people don't give a freaking care because they're older than the age of 5. But you know what? It's there. And if I ever get a weird freaking urge to watch Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, I could watch it. Same as this. You're assuming that only the people who have been hashtagging Snyder Cut all over the place is going to care about this. But it's going to be there. It will be a curiosity piece. At some point in time, I will bet even the person that's right now writing about, oh, how I hate everything, is going to turn it on as a curiosity piece. Granted, whether they like it or not, they're still going to write their I hate everything piece on it, because that's what they do. But at least they'll give it a try, which will be a click, which will be something to say, hey, look, we were right. I don't know. Once again, CBR, I think, shot themselves in the foot. Just because. Just because they wanted to type it out, man. I mean, they literally said, we don't care about it, so why should you? That is what all of this turns out to be. I don't know, gang. There you go. That's my opinion on it. That's the article there. You let me know what you think about the whole thing. You let me know where I'm way off, what I got right. I love to hear it. Put it down in the comments below. Click like, share, subscribe. Ring the notification bell, making sure that all the notifications are set to all. And don't forget to go on over to Patreon or Ko-Fi and drop $1 on the till. This is the way we're trying to make a living, and this will help us make videos for you. I'd like to thank everybody who's already done that, and to everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching. Very, very much for watching. But that's just my opinion. What is yours? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to click like, share, subscribe, ring that notification bell if you haven't done it already. And if you don't mind helping out the channel, go on over to Patreon, Ko-Fi, or even to members only. Drop $1 in the till. Helps keep the lights on. Helps keep making videos for you. I'd like to thank everybody who's already done that. And to everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching.